Okay, so welcome to Dish to Diet and Face of Feelings with Sarah and Sandra and myself from Nourish to Flourish. Today, we're going to be talking about how what some of us consider to be balance and order for others is chaos. And in the end of the day, your health, your well being, even, morning person or night owl, you've got to figure out what really works for you. What does balance and well-being mean in your life? So I'm just curious to hear from the two of you what that looks like. Like when you're living your balanced life, what does that look like? So people can get an idea of what that, what the differences are of, what that looks like in diet, what that looks like in movement and exercise, what that looks like even in sleep.
Go for it, Sandra.
Who
Thanks, Sarah. Um, I think balance for me really is honoring what my body says. When it says it's tired, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
And you shut the computer off and you go and do whatever you're going to do. For me, it's
Uh-huh.
usually quiet time. I pretty much honor it anyway. I shut my electronics down at 8 o'clock at night.
Whereas I
That's
don't. That's when I'm turning it back on.
No, I shut off at 8. Um, if I'm watching a movie, if I decide it's a movie night, then that's a movie night. But there's no work involved on the computer. Generally, if it's a movie night, it's a movie that I can either knit or crochet at the same time.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
it'll be, if it's not movie night, then it's reading something that's entertainment, not something related to what I do in the health coaching field, in the psychology field. It's pure enjoyment reading.
Uh-huh.
Ah, taking time out to go for that walk in the evening, or just sitting outside and enjoying the cooler weather that we have now. But the mosquitoes are horrible right now.
Oh no.
Again. Ah,
Yeah.
so that's my thing.
Yeah.
Honoring my diet, watching what I'm eating is really important. Making sure that I'm drinking enough water. I find that I'm not good at that. I could do better.
So what could you do to be better about it? What
Oh,
helpful tip do you have?
make sure my jug is full.
Oh,
you know,
Well,
make
having
sure
it sitting there isn't
isn't
enough. You have to
isn't
actually take it from full to empty.
yes.
Uh,
I have started putting a timer on my phone
uh-huh.
so that I make sure that I am drinking every 15, 20 minutes.
Gosh, I don't have that problem at all. Like I constantly have a beverage from the time I'm up until I go to sleep, and I drink a little bit of coffee in the morning and then just all water all afternoon.
Mhm.
Um, my ex mother-in-law once marveled when we were at dinner. I was drinking water, and she said, "You drink that like it's a beverage." And I thought, well, it
But
is a
it's a
beverage,
It
beverage.
is.
like the
Yeah.
ultimate beverage. So, okay. But I just thought that was hilarious. Uh, so for
Yeah.
me, I'm starting to think that the concept of living a balanced life is a fallacy. It's really more like a game of
Yes.
whack-a-mole, but maybe you can adjust the timing. So a lot of times there's a lot of stuff popping up and you're hitting away at it, and a lot of times you can just sort of dial it down so you've got less moles to be trying to whack at. And that kind of fits me a little bit better than this concept of balance, because when I'm all into something, it's going to have my entire focus. And maybe I'm having a day where I'm really multitasking and doing a bunch of things, simultaneously. And that can feel like balance to me because I'm paying attention to everything. But yeah, I think I mean, this whole concept of a balanced, work life home balance is, I don't know, it's something that we're trying to force fit ourselves into, but it doesn't really make sense to me to think of it that way, because work is a massive and huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's going to get as much attention as it needs from me. So I think when, you think of the concept of balance, it's like, a pie chart cut into perfect sections. And it's really not like that. It's like, work is 80%. And, so, and I'm okay with that. So, I'm just like carrying on with my little whack-a-mole theory about it. And then just trying to be very mindful for the thing that I am currently focused on, whatever that is. And I am really good at eliminating distractions when I want to. I mean, I'm also really good at letting all the distractions in, but usually that's just my mind telling me, oh, you need a little more time to percolate on this idea before you're able to do something with it. So some days are all about the distractions, and then I just go with it. Like my roommate and I are complete opposites, where she has pretty much every minute of her day all mapped out 7 days a week.
That was how I used to be. Absolutely used to live like that. Yes.
And then she stresses out when she gets off track, and I'm just like, holy smokes. Every Friday, she's like, so what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, don't know yet.
We'll see. Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And she reads off this litany of 27 different things, and then how she feels bad because she's not going to spend time doing this or doing that. And I'm like, who's in charge of your schedule? I'm pretty sure you're the one holding your pencil.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are a study in contrast as far as that goes.
I know for me, it's become about energy levels and focus. Not about, am I working on this or am I working on that, and finding balance between competing priorities or whatever. It's really about how am I feeling energetically and focus wise of, I have spaces in my schedule which I might work or I might have a nap. And it's, often I'll at 8 o'clock sit down at the computer to do some work, and then I'll work till 11. And just as often at 8 o'clock, I've gone to bed, and then I've gotten up at 3 a.m. So everyone's like, well, when's your best time to work? And my best time to work is when I'm awake. And, I know people, some people are morning people and other people are night owls. Well, I work best during night hours, but that might be from 8 till midnight, the same way it might be from 3 till 6 a.m. And I've learned to stop trying to control that, to stop trying to say, well, this is the box you have to fit in. No.
When you said, balancing the energy, there's so many different kinds of energy. Like there's the physical energy of being able to get up and do something, but there's also the creative energy, and there's the, the mindful energy. There's so many different types of energy. And those are the things that, as you learn to pay attention to, the nuanced information in that energy, will really help guide you to what you're going to be able to best express out into the world. And, maybe it is, physical energy where you have a lot or you don't have a lot. But it's that I can get on board with a lot easier, is like managing and balancing the energy, because that to me is all about honoring what's really going on in my body system.
Yeah. I think the other thing, I really like that, Sarah, because I really honor that energy for me, because I don't coach in the evening. I do not coach. Why? My brain doesn't work really well at that time to be on top of my game.
Yeah.
And I think that it took me a long time. I used to working in the nursing field, and nights were horrible for me.
Oh, whereas, and it's so funny you say that, because my mom, if you let her choose shift, she wanted the 3 till 11 p.m. shift.
Oh,
that was her favorite shift. Like, she would ask for that shift, because then she would get home at 11 and she'd go into her craft room and work on her on her quilting or whatever till 2 or 3 a.m. and then go to sleep. And she loved that. Now, she didn't like the 11 till 7 a.m. She couldn't stand that one. Okay. But she loved that afternoon shift of getting home late and then doing whatever she wanted to do till 2 or 3 a.m. And then she'd get up, she'd have breakfast with Dad. At whatever time she woke up, Dad would be like, it's morning tea, it ain't breakfast, And Dad was really practical. He'd make himself oatmeal or eat cereal or make toast, and then whatever Mom wanted to make it 10 a.m. that was fine. But it worked for them while he was retired and she was finishing her nursing career. And that's what she chose of, no, this is what works best for me.
I would choose that same thing.
Oh, not me.
Yeah,
not me.
See? And it takes all kinds, right?
Yeah.
Oh, not me. If they could have created the perfect nursing shift for me, it would have been from 4 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's just
that would have been
really?
Right there. That
okay, see, that's just
perfect.
Crazy. Okay, see, yeah.
Like fortitude, that would have been great.
Yeah.
So if you were going in for a 4 a.m. shift, what time would you be getting up?
Oh, about 3:30.
Yeah.
Depending on where I was working.
Yeah.
If it was in the community, I'd be quarter after.
Yeah. No, not me.
4:30.
Yeah, I always think of those early morning newscasters and weathercasters.
Oh, I don't know how they do it. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely freaking crazy? You got to be made up and in front of the cameras. No.
Yeah.
I find for me right now, and I think this is what, if we're talking about balancing and really honoring our energy levels, take a week and write down, just play with this. Just play with it. Write down when you have your best energy. What were you feeling like? Were you happy?
And best energy for what? Because that's the other thing too. Because often at 8 or 9 p.m., I'm not good for really logical stuff. But it is a great time for brainstorming.
Yeah.
And it's a really creative time.
Isn't that weird? Because my creative time comes between 3 and 5 in the morning.
Well, and that's why I said to you guys before we came on live, I can either go to bed at 10, go to bed early, wake up at 3, or go to bed, late and wake up at 6. Okay. because I either want those last couple of hours at the end of the day, which is, you know, in the night, or I want that 3 to 6 to be creative. And so I get that. I get that it is for me after dark, before dawn.
Yeah, and I look at this too. Like my daughter that lives with me, she's creative and her best work hours are from 9 until 4 in the morning.
Right. And people
Those are
sit
her.
there going, well, you can't work those hours. Why not?
Right.
If your body says that's your best time,
Yeah.
then honor that.
Yeah.
That's your best time.
Yeah.
My best time for crises is always early morning. Me a crisis in the morning and I can handle it just like that. Give me a crisis in the evening and it's like, what do you want me to do with it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It just doesn't flow for me.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of I mean, like, it doesn't matter if we're talking about exercise or we're talking about diet, we're talking about energy levels, creativity. The question is, what works for you? And it's discovering, because I mean, like, you know, you see all these fad diets and these fad exercise programs. It doesn't actually matter which one you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about finding you, and the one that, you know, I mean, like, I keep coming back to running, and everyone's like, well, it's really bad for your knees. But guess what? I still love it.
But if you're loving it, Beth, if you're
Yeah.
loving it and you truly enjoy it, then your subconscious and your body is going to accept that. And it's not going to hurt your knees.
No.
But if you are doing it because
I'm told I have
to,
yeah,
then guess what? It's going to create some damage because your subconscious is going to go, hey, frick you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, I have weights here in the house, and if you ask me to sit down and do weight repetitions, it ain't happening. I will do a kettlebell routine happily, which is, of all the weights, the hardest one, but it's fun as far as I'm concerned. And so it's finding that what do you enjoy mentally, energetically, and I think, like we've already said, it's not necessarily what others might consider balance.
That's so true. And if you have mental resistance to doing it, that energetic resistance is going to manifest in your body, and then that's where the damage is going to come in. Yeah. So it does have to be something that you want to do. It could be suggested by somebody else, and if it resonates with you and it feels good for you, awesome, go do it. And if it doesn't, well,
well, I know for me, you know, somebody was my daughter's grandmother, her paternal grandmother, was complaining that every day I send her with tomatoes to school, and she was like, you know, you really need to give her some variety. And I was like, that's the variety she asks for. You know, I sit there going, what would you like? And she's like, I want this. And it's the same thing every day. And I don't care, because I know, you know, I don't have to send her a mandarin or an apple or whatever. If she's got a tomato, she's got her vitamins. Mm-hmm. You know, and when she comes home at lunchtime, she'll eat a salad, because she's discovered she likes lettuce. And I cannot tell you how wonderful that is.
Yeah.
You know, for a 6-year-old to sit there and go, I really like lettuce. I was like, yeah, I think you like the mayonnaise, not the lettuce, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
I'm not going to sit here and complain.
Yeah.
But we are allowed at that age, and we lose this because of our culture, because of our people within our sphere of
Yeah.
influence, right? When we're growing up, when we're small like that, we get to choose and we listen to our inner
Yeah.
body. We're listening to that inner wisdom that's there. And it says, I want tomatoes today.
Yeah.
So we have tomatoes today.
Exactly.
But as we grow and as we get into school and we get all the other influences from social media and teachers and relatives and this, you know, it all gets bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
we lose that ability to listen to our inner wisdom because it gets shut down.
Well,
It's
and I mean,
always
like,
there, but
if
it
I
gets
ask
shut down.
Isabella if she wants spaghetti with bolognese, she'll say, yes, I want spaghetti. And the moment you get the noodles ready, she doesn't want you to put any sauce on it. She literally wants you to put butter, melted butter and salt. And that's what she wants is literally noodles with a bit of melted butter and salt. And then you can put whatever you like on the side, but she'll just have her noodles. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've had to sit there and say, you know what? That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because as long as you'll eat whatever I put on the side, we'll balance this out at some stage.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Plain noodles with a side of broccoli.
yes,
Absolutely.
that's exactly right. And she loves peas and broccoli and lettuce and tomato. And I'm sitting here going, we don't have any problems. You got greens.
Yeah, Isabella and I could eat together every day then.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, she'll sit there. Sometimes she'll like, I just want chicken. And I'm like, well, what would you like with your chicken? No, just chicken. I'm like, would you? No. Oh, okay. And literally what she's asking for is a steamed chicken breast. That's all she wants.
Yeah. And sometimes our body needs like just simple proteins, and sometimes it needs simple carbs, and sometimes you need really nice, beautiful, complex
taste.
carbs.
Exactly. Yeah, with taste and flavors and everything. Hey, you know, but we'll roll with all of that, because I mean, you can sit her down and give her a full Italian meal, and she'll devour the lot if she feels like it.
Which is exactly how we should all be eating all the time.
I am learning to eat again from her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of really, you know, like my lunch today was literally rice, and I love white rice just with salt. Just white rice with salt.
I do too. Yeah.
And then if I'm still hungry, I'll have something else maybe. But it was just literally, I wanted rice and salt. And I'm like, this is not a balanced meal. And I was like, would you stop judging yourself? Would you just sit down and enjoy the rice, you know? And especially, you know, you do some jasmine rice, and I don't need anything else.
No.
You know,
first of all, it smells like popcorn when it's cooking, so that satisfies my olfactory senses, and then it just tastes so good. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and so, you know, I am learning that, you know, hey, sometimes just enjoy that one thing that, you know, that's what you want right now. That's okay.
But Beth and Sarah, this is not what our diet industry is teaching us.
Which is why we don't listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. Because the diet industry teaches restriction, deprivation, and what does your subconscious do?
And yet, I will say right now, I am doing 30 to 45 minutes of exercise 6 days a week with energy, with no aches and pains. You know, some days it's the elliptical bike because it's raining again. Okay. And sometimes it's walking the dogs. Sometimes it's running with the dogs. It is whatever it is. But I'm doing it and feeling energetic and still well focused when I'm sitting down to work and not feeling that, oh my God, I'm exhausted because I did a workout.
Mm-hmm.
And my meals are unbalanced if you look at any one of them individually.
But are they really?
Exactly. But if you look at what I'm eating within 2 days or a week, they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it meal by meal. I'm not doing three, three veggies, a carb, and a protein at each meal. No, I'm not doing that. I mean, sometimes my meal is literally full protein. Sometimes a meal might be veggies only. And I'm learning to go back to that enjoyment of, this is what my body wants right now. That's what I'm having. That's what I'm making.
Yeah. Honor your internal system.
Yeah. And so, you could look at this from the outside and say, that's chaos. There's no balance. Yeah, fine.
But chaos that's in your life or in Sarah's life or in my life is all different.
Right.
Chaos doesn't mean it has to be upside down, turned around, all of that. It's whatever it fits in your life.
Yeah.
And how you deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all individuals. And when we start looking at ourselves as an individual, honoring our inner
Mm-hmm.
love, our own acceptance of who we are inside, then things on the outer side begin to change.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make changes from outside in. You have to do it from the inside out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on people looking to bring a little bit more balance, order into their lives after this conversation of there is no balance and order. We're busy playing whack-a-mole.
Do what feels best for you, and then do it well.
Yeah, I have to agree. Do what feels right for you.
Yeah.
And to heck with everybody else around you.
Yeah. And just, I've stopped caring about the funny looks. I've stopped caring about the waitress thinking she wants to have a what for lunch. Because I'm quite happy to ask for an entree and a dessert and not have a main. It just is whatever it is. But, it really is about honoring. I mean, Isabella the other day said to me, I haven't finished what's on my plate. And I was like, okay, but you don't have to finish what's on your plate as long as you're full. And she's like, oh, but my abuelita says. And I was like, I don't care what your abuelita says. If you are full, you can push that plate away.
Mm-hmm.
If your tummy has had enough, you can leave food on it.
Yes. Nobody else knows what you feel like in your body.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's days where I know that an hour ago she had something to eat. Fine. It happened. You don't have to eat what's on your plate just because you had a snack an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll catch up on what you need in nutrients later.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, realistically, start really listening to how you're feeling and like Sandra said, watch your energy. There's it's more like this. It's not that it's a level line. Energy is flowing more like waves. And I don't want a flat line in my life, huh?
Not unless you're planking.
Exactly. I'd much have that high and low, you know. So anyway, guys, have a great afternoon. Thank you, Angela and others, for watching us, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.